uncle, I said, I'm not coming back for the salary that I had. I have to take care of my sister, my child. He said, you name the salary and I'll give it to you. And I did. I said, 4,500. Just that came to my mind, and he gave me then raises. I came up to 7,000. So I started to work because I had to make up my mind. I could have gotten, from the government and from the Joint District Committee support, and I could stay with the child, not do anything. But I said, I'm not going to live on welfare. I'm going back and I'll work. And that was the best thing that I could do. I found my balance only in that. Because, we just live for the moment to live to the day that we are liberated. When I looked at the balance sheet, nobody came back. Not my husband, not his family, not my sister, not my brother. So I had to do something, and the best way to do it is what I said. I'll start to work. And I wrote to my brother from Minneapolis that I survived, and I told him, I said, it's terrible that I have to give it to you in one letter, but I don't feel that I can postpone it. I just have to tell you the truth. And it got him very sick. He was very, very heartbroken. And he sent me a telegram, broken in heart, in spirit, ready to help. And help he did. His wife, Leah, I will show you the picture.
Not now.
No. They started to send packages, food packages, and especially for the child. In those days, if you ask people to please take it along and hand it over to the person, in many cases you didn't find a real trustworthy person. So the first package I got, it came to the American Embassy. Some colonel in the army who was from Minneapolis, and he brought a snowsuit for the child and a few things. And in the few things, I realized that this was okay. But then I got a second letter that somebody is going to Vienna and will be in Baltimore and in Bratislava, or will give me a package. So they came, they were young women, and what did they bring? A dirty old trench coat. I knew, Pinkas or my sister would not send such a thing. And sheets, bedding, and the bedding was also like it was used, and not in good shape. So they started just to send packages through the regular mail, and I didn't have to pay any custom duty because they made for 5 years you can get help from outside without paying anything. So they started to send packages.
What made you decide to come to the United States?
When we were liberated, it was Czechoslovakia again. Beneš, the president who was outside of the country, came back, and he got a joyous and very tumultuous welcome. And he made his trip through Russia. He came because they were afraid that this is the only Slav ally, so he wanted to be on good terms with them. But what happened after a year or two, he was arrested, and they said he's in a sanatorium. We knew already how the Russians work, and a communist took over. And when the communists took over, the whole system, the government and everything was different, was in chaos. And one day when I worked, a man came in, and I knew him. He was an architect, a Jew, who was, by the way, in the Russian army, as a Czech. And he said he would like me to be his secretary. So I thought, if he has the right just to recruit me, this is not democracy, and I better leave.
We'll continue on the next tape.
Okay.
This is Carol Katz, the survivor. I'm Lucy Samarodin, the interviewer. Mrs. Katz, we were talking about you coming to the United States and your decision to come here.
Well, when I saw that the communists took over, I felt I better get out before I will be in another entrapment. So I wrote to my brother he should send me an affidavit, and I want to go with my child to America, because I didn't want him to bring up anymore in a country where he, in some time later, goes through the same thing as his father. And they sent me papers, and I took the train to Prague to register with the American Embassy consulate, and it took 4 years, 1946 till 1949, end of November 1949, to get my visa. So that was really nerve-wracking. I didn't know whether I stay. I didn't know how to teach my child whether the language of the land, or shall I start the ABC. And it was really a very nervous time. By the year, that year, 1949, I really got my salary for doing nothing, because every day I had to go to some office to get some document. And by November, I forgot, beginning November, I went to Prague, and still I needed another document, and I had to call up my office and ask the woman who took my place, and she was a lawyer, and she got the document and she sent it to Prague, where I stayed at the hotel. And finally I got the visa, and then I had to come. Before I left Czechoslovakia, the Jewish, the Joint Distribution Committee, they had offices in Prague and they had offices in Bratislava. And I had to go to them to work out my trip. And I could pay in Slovak currency till Sweden. In Sweden I took a boat. But my brother had to send me the boat ticket. So in Prague at the Joint, they talked to me, and then they said, would I be kind enough and keep an eye on a very old lady. she was my age now, who was liberated, and she was a very prominent woman. She wore plain clothes.